Hi there, my name is Sheila, and today we are going to make some dollhouse furniture. Uh, Today it will be a coffee table and end tables. Just a really simple design, kind of the basics, and I will show you a quick way to do it, and I can show you different little variations too in it. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm doing this on behalf of PA Métis Women, who is doing a lot of these videos, which is great. Anyways, so you will get a kit and contain 2 bags. One says coffee table on it, one says end table on it. I can take all my stuff out just to show, but when you get yours, I would kind of advise you to keep the end table separate from the coffee table, just so you don't get them mixed up. But also, in your kit, the legs for this kit are all wrapped together in green tape, so none got lost in that. So you'll have the legs for the coffee table and the end table in one bag, so you'll just have to take those ones out. The end tables, you'll have 2 of them, and the coffee table, you'll have 1. I'm hoping next week I can do one on making a sofa, couch, and a single bed or a bed, and we'll get that hopefully done up for you guys next week. But here we go. So you have 4 pieces here. This is for the coffee table. You have 4 pieces, 2 long, 2 short. I call it a skirt around the table. Other people can use it by different names. Just put something underneath where you're working so you don't get glue on the table. And I just take some glue and put it on the ends. Like so. And this is really good wood glue, so hopefully you don't have any problems with it. And it glues quite fast, but you know, you have to be a little patient too. But try to square it off as much as you can, like that. And do the other end. This is what your glue comes in. A little container like that. It's Gorilla wood glue. And then I put a little skewer stick in there for just to apply the glue. And then so you go like this. And like I said, square it off as much as you can. If it's not totally squared off, don't worry about it. Hopefully it doesn't stick to this piece of paper I have. Usually I use plastic or parchment paper, wax paper. The glue doesn't stick to it as bad. So I got that skirt all glued off. And now with the legs, there's different ways you can do the legs. You can do the legs on the inside like that, on each corner. Or you can even actually just do it on the side like this. Where if I did on the outside like this, I would kind of do it in a different design, where the legs aren't on the same ends, kind of like that. Or you can also do it where pull that apart and make it a triangle and stick the leg in there like that. I will do it in a couple different ways. I'll do the coffee table one way, an end table one way, and the other end table another way, just so you can see the finishing. But like I said, yeah, just do it like this. And, you're going to probably run into some wood that, like, one side or end might be a little bit lower. And that's fine, too. Just the flat part on the bottom where you have it right on the table, that will be your top anyways. So your table won't sit awkward. So here I go. I'm going to do the legs on the inside for this one. And I just dab some glue there. Give it not too much, but enough. A nice little healthy amount, on the two corners. And then I'll just stick them in there like that. Like I said, this is Gorilla Wood Glue, and it's fantastic. Once it sticks, it's hard pressed to get them apart. I know I've run into those situations where I had to pull wood apart, and yeah, it just wasn't happening in some cases. So do some more like this. Try to have it like as straight as possible because you want your legs to be as even as possible. And once it's all done, I'm throwing in a little piece of sandpaper so you can sand up some rough edges. I did sand some of the wood, but it was with a rough grit, so it would be nice just to kind of touch it up with some, I think it's 120 grit or 100 grit I have in the kits. I couldn't get 220, which kind of was a bummer because I really like 220 grit. It's a really nice finishing sandpaper. And once you get it all done, you can either paint it, or you can stain it, or you can leave it the way it is. Whatever the little person in your life that's getting it wants, I guess. Paint it pink, paint it purple, whatever. I personally stain my wood because I love the wood grain. But that's me, and I'm an adult, and I don't play with dollhouses. So there is the basic. The 4 legs and the skirt around. And we're just going to let that dry a little bit. So I'll put it over to the side on a plastic bag and let it dry. Just so my legs don't fall off while I'm trying to. And I'll start on an end table. End table, same thing, except you're going to have 4 long, 4 short. So, I try to match them up as good as I could. When I was actually cutting the wood, I was cutting it in the twin, so these 2 long pieces would be the exact same. These 2 short pieces would be the exact same. And from the exact same piece of wood, so it'd be the right width. But I guess I wasn't thinking, and once I got all the wood cut, I threw it all in a bag and to come over here to put it in kits. And well, then I spent hours upon hours trying to match them up. So, like, we are just, I sanded this wood, but sometimes you get that little fuzzy end at the edge, and sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. So anyways, this time I'm gonna take the short end and put it on the inside instead of on the outside like I did with the coffee table. So I'm gonna do the ends of these ones like this. Just a little dab of glue will do it. And you know, like again, once it all dries and that, you can take the sandpaper, and if there was any excess glue that came out, you can sand it off, you know, fix it up the best you can. And just slide this in like this and square it up. Okay, well that's pretty square. I just don't want it sticking to the paper. And I will take the legs. And this time I'm going to do, I come up with my own little terminology here. I call it a pinwheel leg, where the legs aren't on the same piece of wood, or on the same side, I should say. Kind of goes in a pinwheel. I don't know if it's as sturdy as inside or the corner, but it's just something, a little design in that. And you know, like once you know the basic, you can do so much other things. Like, you know, you can have an oval table, a round table, a pedestal table. You know, there's just so many ideas that come from the basic. If you have a router, you can make nice routered edges. If you do the legs on the inside on these smaller ones, you would have almost like a pedestal table, because the legs would be so close in there, which could be pretty cool too. You could, you know, take another piece of wood and put it on the bottom as a little shelf or something. And there you go. This is what I call a pinwheel table. It's not on any side. It's kind of like those little blowing pinwheel things on the stick. Little flower thing. And it's a little bit harder because you can't put much pressure on this to really stick it on, because then the sides want to come off. But so there's and plus my glue stuck to the paper. Why didn't I put saran wrap down on top of the paper? I don't know, but I think I will be, because there we go. You won't see that little piece anyways, and I'll just get this squared back up. Got it sitting on the plastic now, so. But yeah, it's already starting to stick pretty good here. So there you go. I'm just gonna pause this for a second. So okay, yep, that was the pinwheel one I call. And then I'll do this one. Oh, I had to stop and put plastic on my paper because it was sticking to the paper. And yeah, that was just becoming a nightmare quickly. This one will be a little bit more difficult to do because you're not really gluing the ends together. You're gluing the legs to the end. So you have to square it up pretty good and do it like that. So yeah, just put some glue in the corner like that. And then stick it on. Like that. And hopefully you put enough glue on that it will get that little corner in there. Then you take another leg and do the same thing until you're all the way around. Put this like this. But as you can see, just have the corner of the leg just going to the edge of that end piece there. And then this end piece like this. Just so it stays nice and straight. And it glues nicely. Then do it again on this end. Like this. Turn it around so it's facing you so you can square it off a little bit easier. Like so. Then this one should be pretty much ready just to slip that leg in that last corner. But you might have to adjust a little bit. And then just slide this one in here like so. I think if I was going to do this way, I would put a staple in or a finishing nail, a really tiny nail, like a brad nail, if you have a brad nailer. But that's how that looks. And I actually like this look, but it's just a little bit more difficult. So we'll just put that to the side and let it dry. And of course I broke it all apart when I did that. Because the glue dries fast, but like, not that fast. It's not crazy glue. This is just a fun little thing to do. You can do it like with your child or your grandchild or whoever you're doing it for. You could do it with them. Or if they're really little, do it for them and have fun with it. But if you paint, stain, Varathane, whatever, wherever you pick up your stuff, like if it's Rona, Walmart, whatever, Econo Lumber, any lumber yards you can get the stuff. Just try to get the stuff that's the most child-proof. Because if you're doing it for a little one, they might stick it in their mouth and that, and you want it to be safe for them. But okay, I got them all together now. So now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the coffee table and see how it looks. I'm going to take the top part now, and you decide which side you want. They're pretty much the same. And I'm going to try to even it up as much as possible on here. And you know, even if you want, you can draw a line around it, so when you lift it up to glue it, like kind of outline the base. When you lift it up to glue it, you know where to put it back down. So there you go. So now I will flip it over like this. And put glue on all the surface. And as you can see, it doesn't take very long to make a very simple coffee table and end tables. And, you know, then before you do any heavy sanding, let the glue dry completely, which would be a couple hours, but, you know, for something like this, I would give it a 24-hour. Let it dry for 24 hours. Then you know it's dried really good. Then you can sand it, you can paint it, you can stain it all then. So then keep the top part like that, the tabletop. And like I said, if you drew your lines around, then you just kind of put it on there like that. And there you have it, a coffee table. I'm going to leave it upside down for a little while I do the end tables. And then I'll be able to flip it around and show you what it looks like. Okay, now the end tables. I'm going to do the pinwheel one first. And oh, look at that. Nope. The pinwheel one was not a good choice for that. This one just meets in the corner. So there's another thing you can kind of measure up. But the pinwheel one won't. The wood isn't big enough. I thought it would be big enough would have been big enough on the coffee table. So we can hopefully maybe get those legs off, and we'll do it on the inside. And I tell you, I think we just caught it in time. See how quick this stuff dries? And I think another 20 minutes it would have been too late. So anyways, we're going to do this one where the corners are going to be a little sticky ouches, but like I said, you know, like a lot of the tops in the kitchenette, they're all different sizes. Some are more square than others. So you'd be able to do the pinwheel one. Some are just like this rectangle, and I don't know why I would get a rectangle one, but anyway, so I'm gonna do this one on the inside like the coffee table, and you can see how it's almost like a pedestal. Put in there like that. You'll see how close the legs are, and then I'll let this dry while I'm doing the other end table up. But you know, your first time, never perfect, as you can tell. I made a mistake with the pinwheel legs, but that's okay. Trial and error. That's how I learned. I'm self-taught, and I just sat down and thought, well, I can do that design, looking at something, and you know, I might research it or figure it out, trial and error. And sometimes it took me more than 1, 2, 3, 5 tries until I finally got it the way I wanted it. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So just make sure these legs are all even, like touching the top of the skirt. Trying to keep it all even as possible. And there you go. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to put the top of the end table on this one. I really like this design, to be honest with you. But I like the other ones too. But like I said, once the glue is dried really well, 24 hours, whatever, you could put a little finishing nail in each end, or even a staple, if you got staples that are long enough to go through the wood, and just for extra support. But since it's not really a table where there's going to be a lot of pressure on it, you know, like Barbie might have her little cup of tea on there, but it's not like a human table. This glue should hold pretty well. And then just go like this and try to even up the corners as much as possible. And as you press down, it might slip a little bit, but you got room to move. A little bit of time to slip everything back into the place where you want it. And put that aside to dry a little bit. And the last table. See, because the legs are so close, it's almost like a pedestal, but not. And I like this design too. I am quickly not liking the pinwheel design because it didn't turn out for me. But I'm glad it didn't turn out on video so you can see yourself that we all make mistakes. And it's just all trial and error. So if something isn't sitting right on yours, that's okay. You know, I'm sure you can figure something out on it, even if it comes to, if you put it on a little uneven, if you have to sand something down or glue something on the bottom. You know how when you got an uneven table, you can put a little piece of paper or something, folded paper underneath back in the day, and it would even out your table, a little shim or whatever. So then I will try to put this as even as possible. Like I said, drawing the lines on it is probably the best thing to do once you have it all situated. And there you go. You got this little end table. Put a lamp on it. You have this little end table where the corners are sticking out a little bit on the legs. But that's okay. You can either sand them off or leave them like that. And here is your coffee table. The measurements of these are, this is 3.5 inches long, and I believe it's 2.5 inches wide. And this one's 2 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. I'm sure that's the measurements. I have it written down at home, but there you go. 3 different ways of doing it, and you can figure out which one you like the best. And once again, I would like to thank Prince Albert Meiji Women Association for letting me do this video for them. And I hope you enjoy making it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.